I'm taking into account 20 years of data. This is not the first time Infosys stock has fallen 40%.
HCL Tech, Wipro, all of them are looking at weaker
In last few weeks, there is huge downfall observed in the IT stocks. Most of the stocks in IT sector are heavily bleeding nowadays. And it's really sad to see that many of the retail investors who hold huge chunks of these stocks in their portfolio doesn't even know the reason behind this fall. Some of the people around me are saying it's a trap and rest are considering it as an opportunity. If you have the same doubt deep down somewhere, don't worry, this video is for you. This coming part of this video, I will discuss why the IT is falling nowadays, and I will show a framework to analyze the sector, and we will also be analyzing the last 13 years data of Infosys, which will help us to understand the cyclical cycle going within the Infosys. Guys, pause the videos, grab a notebook and a pen, and let's start. This all started when Infosys released its result for the latest quarter, and according to it, revenue of the fourth quarter actually went down when compared to the third quarter. और investor ने expect किया ही नहीं था. In last 2 years, Infosys revenue was growing at double digits. But Infosys suddenly dropped a bomb by announcing that revenue in coming years will grow at single digit. Friends, don't imagine 9 as a single digit. Infosys said the number will be between 6 to 8%. Infosys is not alone in this. TCS, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, all these giants feel the same for coming years. But is a bad quarter really driving all this meltdown? Let's dig little bit deeper. Infosys' biggest clients comes from banking, financial services and retail sectors. In last 2 years, inflation in USA have increased, and this result to a change in purchasing pattern of consumer across the USA. Consumer are cutting back on their expenses, and this behavior of consumer is affecting the revenue of these retail chains. For instance, in USA, a retail chain called Macy's, where you can buy household items and clothes, realized that the revenue is going down. To balance the loss in revenue, Macy's took a decision to cut down their IT spending by 10 to 15%, and that is huge. And guess what? Macy's is a client to tech giants like Infosys, TCS and Accenture. You guys must have heard the name Walmart. Walmart also decided to cut down its IT spending, and Walmart is a client to Infosys, and it will directly affect Infosys revenue. All these retail chains are already giving nightmare to Infosys, and then something worst happened. All the regional banks in USA start collapsing. So Infosys draw about 2 to 3% of its revenue from these regional banks. So now you must have an idea why IT sector is bleeding red. Now let's discuss the framework to analyze the valuation of a sector. There can be these 3 conditions while doing the sectoral analysis. I completely avoid the first condition here. Second and third are the ones which can give us the risk-reward ratio benefit. Now let's analyze the whole IT sector. If you look at the IT index composition, you will be shocked to know that 4 companies are holding 60% of IT index. And top 5 companies are contributing 70% of IT index. These are Infosys at 28, TCS at 26, Wipro at 9.2, Tech Mahindra is contributing 8.9%, and then we have HCL contributing 9.21%. These all are the mature business and there is very less room to grow. Have a look at their compounded profit growth. TCS, Tech Mahindra, Infosys are growing at the rate of 10 to 12% only. Now let's analyze the last 13-year data of IT index. There majorly 4 cycles are going on. From 2010 to 2012, the EPS growth rate was 12%. It's just after the great financial crisis. Before it, the company was growing at 20%. Then a positive cycle came in. Between 2012 to 2015, growth rate have become more than 20%. Look at the whole IT index price. It was at 6,548 on 2012, but it becomes almost double in 2015. Now earnings per unit means 1 unit price of IT Nifty index. It was 312 in 2012 and became 533 in 2015. And then the third cycle started. A really massive slowdown was observed between 2015 to 2018. I am not going into the details much. I am just figuring out the pattern so later I can compare it with the framework I have shared with you. In these 13 years, the P is moving between 16 to 20. Look closely, from 2020 to 2023, the P ratio have increased and also the earning increased. Now recall the framework I have shared with you and see it's the first case we can apply here. P ratio is at its peak, so as the earnings. The reason I asked you to avoid the buying at this condition is because if company observe any minor setback or negative surprise, the stock will crash because valuation doesn't have any margin of safety. Remember, when there is no margin of safety in valuation, the stock crashes. and this is what currently happening in IT sector. IT sector always have an average PE of 16 to 18 times, but after the COVID, the PE ratio of IT moved to 27 to 28 times, and earning growth also increased from 7% to 13%. It's purely the first case of my framework. Infosys also announced a revenue guidance of 4% to 7% in a constant currency for 2024. It shows Infosys is going back to their average. And similarly, all the tech giants have huge chances to go back to their average annual growth rate. IT index these days are in vicious loop. High valuation, slow earning growth, and future earning downgrade. And this may result in more correction in IT stocks. Hit the like button and subscribe us. Want me to go in details in sector analysis framework? Do let me know in the comment section. Till then, bye.